Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are now heading down the Universal movie timeline, which shows just a few of the thousands of movies that Universal has worked on over the years. And will trace the evolution of the Universal film line. Now, speaking of Universal films, I'm going to show you a little snippet of a classic black and white film and see if you can figure out what it is.
Ready for you, Mrs. Barrington.
Thank you, Will.
Did you hear that? Mrs. Barrington.
Not quite, darling, but soon. Very, very soon. Hello. Yes? Get a bottle of champagne sent to the room at once. And make sure that we are not disturbed for any reason.
That was great. That was great.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you might have guessed, that was not a classic black and white film. That's shot right here on Soundstage 20. And that's a great example of what our sound stages look like on the inside. But what do they look like on the outside? Well, you're going to find out in just a few moments because we're entering our front lot where we have most of our sound stages. The first sound stage you're going to see is coming up on your left-hand side. It is Soundstage 12, which is currently home to NBC's hit singing competition, The Voice, hosted by Carson Daly.
Hi everybody, I'm Carson Daly from NBC's The Voice, and I'll welcome you to the Universal Front Lot. Our show is filmed on stage 12. It happens to be the largest soundstage on the Universal lot. Take a look.
And here is a few other things that are filmed inside of Soundstage 12.
Say hello to my little friend!
This is what Soundstage 12 looks like on the inside without any sets or scenery. It kind of looks like a giant warehouse with insulated walls that make it 98% soundproof, which is pretty important because if you take a look to your right-hand side, you'll see the extended queue of our Jurassic Park ride. Also behind those insulated sound walls, we have our Insidious maze for our Halloween Horror Nights event. Both of those things can get very noisy, so we definitely don't want that noise bleeding into our sound stages. One other thing that is loud enough to bleed into the sound stages is my amplified voice, which is why I mentioned when we were at the load line that I might have to get out of the microphone if I saw one of those red wigwag lights on. Now coming up on your left-hand side, we have sound stages 16 and 17, where they filmed the TV show Superstore, starring America Ferrera and Ben Feldman. And here are a few other things that have filmed on our front lot stages, including Superstore.
Patience for one another.
Yeah, you know, the heat makes us all act.
If your face stays where it is, it's gonna get punched.
Whose name is worth more in Scrabble tiles? Uzo Aduba or David Oyelowo? Uzo Aduba.
Now over here on your left-hand side, we're passing by Soundstage 21, also used for Superstore, but it was previously used for one of my favorite TV shows of all time, The Mindy Project, which is currently streaming its last season on Hulu. So if you watch it, you'll probably recognize some of the filming locations from our tour today, because they filmed on the back lot quite extensively, and it's hilarious. Check it out. But here's Mindy to tell you a little more.
Hi everybody, I'm Mindy, and welcome to the world-famous Universal Studios Tram Tour. I wish I could join you, but I'm really busy shooting my show, The Mindy Project.
Also, you were banned from trams because you jumped off when you tried to hug Steven Spielberg.
For information, you loved it, okay? And Mr. Spielberg, if you're out there, I'm waiting for our close encounter.
Leave the guy alone, he's super busy.
I think we had a connection.
I'm a big fan too, Mr. Spielberg.
Edit this out, please.
Now, while The Mindy Project streams on Hulu, it's produced by Universal Television. And speaking of Universal Television, let's talk a little more about Universal Studios. Universal Studios is part of a much larger media entertainment company called NBC Universal. And NBC Universal bunch of your favorite TV networks, including NBC, of course, E, Sci-Fi, USA, Bravo, Telemundo, and much more. Over here on your right-hand side, we have Soundstage 44, which is where they filmed the TV show The Good Place, starring Ted Danson and Kristen Bell. And like I said, guys, definitely check it out. It is awesome. I highly recommend it to you. Now, to work on all these TV shows and movies I've been mentioning, we need directors, writers, producers, and a lot of them have offices here at our production bungalows, which are now on your left-hand side. Our production bungalows used to be dressing rooms for the stars contracted to Universal Studios. Stars like Doris Day, Rock Hudson, Lucille Ball, and my personal favorite, Jimmy Stewart. Now, since permanent dressing rooms have pretty much become a thing of the past, these have been converted into production offices for companies like Illumination Entertainment, who brought you the Despicable Me franchise. Now, my favorite bungalow here on the lot is Bungalow 5195. It's going to be on your left-hand side in a few moments. Bungalow 5195 is a familiar silhouette on the side of you. We recognize it as the incomparable Alfred Hitchcock. Bungalow 5195 used to be his office. It's over here right on your left-hand side. Now, if terror and suspense really aren't your thing, take a look to your left, because we got some comedy waiting right over there for you, because we got the Will and Grace soundstage. This fall, Will and Grace is coming back to NBC for its 9th season on September 28th, which was yesterday? Day before? Something like that. Deborah Messing, Eric McCormick, Megan Mullally, and Sean Hayes will all be back. The show's been off the air for 11 years, but amazingly, the actors have only gotten 5 years older. That's the magic of Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. And you can actually catch up on the original series on Hulu and watch the new season on Hulu as well. So, yeah, no excuse. It's all available for you. Now, over here on your left-hand side, we have our Metropolitan sets. That's our New York Street. And who better to tell us about New York Street than our co-host, Jimmy Fallon.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York! I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. What's got mugged over there? An old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here! I'm walking here! Yeah, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. You can make it here, you can make it anywhere, even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
Now you guys might be noticing that we have some tents and structures built here. That tent that says American Horror Story, this is not really film American Horror Story. That's our American Horror Story Roanoke Maze for Halloween Horror Nights. And then we've also got one for Saw and one for Ash vs. Evil Dead. So if you want to come and walk on these historic backlot sets and simultaneously have the daylight scared out of you, come visit us. If that sounds awful, don't come visit us. You probably won't like it. It's really fun if it's the kind of thing you like to do. It's really not fun if it's not. But this is our London Square area. London Square was featured in the Season 2 finale of Marvel's Agent Carter, and it's also been seen in The Amazing Spider-Man. Like I said, right now it's set up for Halloween Horror Nights, so all the trucks and things like that, none of these are props for films or anything like that. They're just for Halloween Horror Nights. The same with the props you're going to see over here on your right-hand side, like this hearse, and what looks like a demon. Now, we could definitely use these props for a production as well. We do have a large prop department that probably provides them with these props. But our Metropolitan sets were built with the help of director Steven Spielberg, and he really got his start here at Universal. And here's a little bit more about that. Oh, nope. Wrong button. Ah, some of the evil trams that buttons don't work as well. All right, here we go.
When I was about, 16 years old, and I began hanging out at Universal during my summers. When I went to college nearby, I continued to come on the lot and try to become a director. So Universal sort of is my birthplace. This is a place I consider my first home, and I love it here. And I keep coming back.
Our Metropolitan sets have been seen in countless productions. I mean, there's really too many to name, but here's just a couple off the top of my head. Fate of the Furious, the latest Fast and Furious film, used our Metropolitan sets. American Ninja Warrior, they build their obstacle courses out here all the time. And also the Mindy Project, of course. You guys know I love the Mindy Project. It really does film. It did film a lot on the Universal lot. They used our New York Street quite a bit. They even used our London Square. I'm pretty sure they used Courthouse Square, and they used our Brownstone Tree. So they've used every inch of our Metropolitan sets, and also some other sets out here on the Universal backlot. So, like I said, definitely check the show out. Maybe just one episode where you can be like, oh, I recognize New York Street right there. Now, even though our New York Street is called New York Street, it can be any major metropolitan area anywhere. For instance, it was seen as Chicago in the Blues Brothers.
When the Pinto fell and you saw it land and make this big hole in the street, that was on the back lot. You dropped it from a crane. You dig like that in Chicago, not a good idea.
When people ask me, of all of the movies I've ever done, what was the most satisfying or the most fun, I've got to say Blues Brothers. We got to sing, we got to dance, got to drive, and train with the best stunt people in the world, and got to be an actor and a writer. So it was a good piece of work.
Danny called John America's Guest because just didn't walk into anybody's house.
During the shooting of the movie, John was missing. We couldn't find him.
Danny went off looking for him. He saw a light on in his one house and knocked on the door.
I said, sir, we're doing a movie down here. We're looking for one of our actors. Oh, John, yeah, he's on my couch. He came in, he had a snack a couple hours ago. He's sleeping. He was America's Guest. I mean, literally that happened.
And a couple other times you've seen our New York Street as either different cities or different countries. You've seen it as downtown Los Angeles in Changeling, starring Angelina Jolie, where it was also set in the 1920s. So what kind of set dressing we have on the sets can really make or break if you believe that we're in a certain location. So for the Blues Brothers, they probably had some police cars with, you know, the Chicago license or plates on them, and I'm sorry, Illinois license plates on them and things like that. And you know, just set decoration that gives you the idea, oh, we're in Chicago right now. And then also for Changeling, starring Angelina Jolie, they needed to have different vehicles, different street lights, whatever they would have in the 1920s to make you believe that. Now we're going to leave behind our Metropolitan sets, and we're going to head somewhere a little more exotic. We're on our way to Skull Island from King Kong.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9. I like films that just take you away from your life. Sweet run on the edge. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to Lost Island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, you know, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island. We really put a lot of thought into the character and personality of Kong, and he's so much more than a monster. In fact, he's not a monster. You know, he is an incredibly majestic, ancient creature. He's a force of nature. He's strong, he's wise, he's proud, he's fierce, and obviously he has a heart. The most important feature of Kong resides. Kong scenes are wonderfully expressive. They're full of emotion. His eyes are He's had an enormous number of encounters with his foes, the T-Rexes and the various dinosaurs on Skull Island.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please hold on to your belongings and remain seated at all times. And welcome to Skull Island.
That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presented into the
film. And that makes our tram what's known as a picture car. A picture car is any car seen in a TV show or a movie. And we're about to see some famous picture cars up close and personal. But before we do, here's how a few of them look on screen. Look out! Picture cars without mentioning Fast and Furious, our most successful franchise here at Universal. We have another very successful franchise as well, our Jurassic Park franchise. And we have the Jeep Wrangler Sahara from Jurassic World. And speaking of Jurassic World, take a look at this. I'm sure you're all wondering, who's that guy trying to run away with his margaritas during a dinosaur attack? Well, it was Jimmy Buffett. He owns Margaritaville. Universal City Walk now has its own Margaritaville, which you can experience later tonight. And we have one more picture car coming up over on your right-hand side, a camouflage Mercedes. I wonder where you'd see something like that.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be looking at some of the props and vehicles from the first 3 Jurassic Park films today. We also have some actual dinosaurs out here on the back lot, but don't worry, unlike those poor people at Ingen, we're able to keep our dinosaurs under control out here on the back lot. So coming up on your left-hand side, we have the mobile lab from the second Jurassic Park film, The Lost World Jurassic Park, which is actually made entirely out of plywood. And then coming up on your right, we have some dinosaurs in there. Wait. Uh-oh. Don't look for them. Guys, let me know if you see anything, okay? They've got to be around here somewhere. Okay, well, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Weather played an incredibly important role in the Jurassic Park films, because, you know, it's terrifying no matter what if a T-Rex is chasing you, but it is even more scary in the dark and in the rain. So to tell us a little bit more about the weather we're going to experience on the back lot today, here's everyone's favorite weatherman, Al Roker.
Hi everybody, here's today's forecast for the Universal back lot. It's going to be sunny and dry at 6 Points, Texas. Cool and cloudy in Little Europe. Expect snow and sleet on New York Street, and we've got a high chance of fog and precipitation for Skull Island, Amity Island, and Island Blah. That's your forecast for today. Now here's a look at what's going on in your neck of the lot.
Ugh, a flash flood warning. Come on, it's not even raining. We have a flash flood, no rain. Oh. Okay. Well, you know, this is probably a good time to talk about how we create rain out here in Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. So what we'll do is we'll mount a sprinkler on top of the building. So we turn that sprinkler on and let the water fall to the ground naturally as if it were real rain. Now, water is transparent. It doesn't always show up too well on screen, so the more water you use, the better it's going to look. Now, back in the early days of filmmaking, they actually used to add powdered milk to the water to make it a little more opaque. But that was kind of nasty, so they stopped doing that, and now we just use those extra large raindrops. Now you guys might actually recognize that flash flood from Big Fat Liar. Please do remember to remain seated, or we cannot move. Please sit down. Please sit down. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Now we're going to cross the border out of Old Mexico and into 6 Points, Texas, where all the most famous westerns were shot. And all the most famous western cowboys mosey down the street. And even though they don't shoot a lot of westerns anymore, this area is still used. It was seen as Australia in Disney Saving Mr. Banks. It's where Miss Celie sold her fancy pants in the color purple. It was also a movie studio set in Marvel's Agent Carter. That's right, guys. We're so existential here. We use our movie studio sets as movie studio sets. But you may also recognize it from this classic shootout.
This town ain't big enough for the both of us, Jimmy Fallon.
Well, I ain't going anywhere, Jimmy Fallon.
Now look here. My folks in this tram don't want no trouble. They just want to check out 6 Points, one of the oldest sets on the Universal lot.
I hear this where John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart shot a few of their westerns.
That's right. That's where I aim to shoot.
Looks like we got ourselves a Mexican standoff. Lucky shot.
Now what say you mount up and get out of town when we get good?
All right. I'll see you again, Fallon.
Oh, you can count on it, then. Thank you.
This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
We just have to talk it out, that's all.
Alright, so maybe Jimmy Fallon's not a real Western star, but here are a couple of Universal's favorite Western stars who actually did mosey down these streets at one time or another. A lot of the doors are different sizes here in 6 Points, Texas, and it's actually intentional because while some Western stars like Jimmy Stewart stood well over 6 feet tall, other Western stars like Audie Murphy were only about 5 foot 6. To make them appear bigger and brawnier than they actually were, they would build doorways smaller. So when the short cowboy stood in a small doorway, he would look much larger by comparison. Now we're driving through Old Mexico again one more time, which you may recognize from HBO's Westworld and What's Love Got to Do with It. And the street we are currently driving down right now, this was Peru in Paramount's Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And this area was also seen as Tortuga in Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean. You know what, it's a little dry and hot here in Texas and Old Mexico. I think we should take a little break, a little detour from this tour. We're going to go breathe in some nice ocean breeze, and we're going to go to the lovely little town of Amity Island and go to the beach. Now I know what you guys are thinking, Amity Island? That's the town from Jaws. Are you crazy? There's a man-eating shark in that water. Well guys, it's okay, I promise. We caught the shark and he's hanging up right over there. Haha. You can't hurt us. And my good friend George, he's a police diver. He's in the water right over there. Just doing a final sweep of the harbor to make sure everything's kosher. Hey George. How you doing? Oh, he's underwater. I guess he can't hear me. Oh, there he is. Oh. And clearly, that must be some other kind of marine animal because we already caught the shark. There can't be 2 man-eating sharks in one body of water, right, guys? Right, guys? Uh-oh. George? Maybe you should get out of the water, buddy. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here, folks. We're just gonna, please remain seated as we make our way across the dock, and we're gonna hide right behind these highly flammable oil tanks. Oh dear. works a lot better than the shark from the film. The shark from the film sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean on the first day of filming, prompting the crew to nickname the production Flaws. Not a very nice nickname. But here's Steven Spielberg to tell you a little bit more about working with that much maligned shark, except he's not here right now because his keyboard is having some issues again. All right, there we go.
Wherever you were, I hear the radio. And we're always saying, the track is not working. Just waiting. Just waiting. The shark is low enough to allow them to go on. So I get orders by the line.
Now, on a less grisly note, take a look to your left. That is not where they filmed Jaws. They filmed on location in Martha's Vineyard. But that is where they filmed Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. That is the town of Cabot Cove. We have our chicken ranch. Our chicken ranch is a practical set, meaning you can film inside and outside of it, which is actually pretty unique out here on the Universal backlot. But here's what it looks like on screen. Now over here on your left-hand side, we have the beginning of our Colonial Street. Colonial Street has been used in countless television shows, including The Mindy Project, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and ABC's Desperate Housewives. That's great. What is that car doing there? That's not one of our production vehicles. Hold on.
This is security. What's going on, Studio Tour?
There's a 1970s Dodge Charger parked over by Colonial Street. Doesn't have a parking permit or anything. You come check on it for us, maybe tow it or something.
Okay, Tour. I'll send someone down to check it out ASAP.
Thank you. All right, guys. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. So we're going to get back to the tour and,
Studio Tour. Looks like we might have an issue. I'm patching you in Agent Novak from the FBI.
I'm sorry to interrupt your fun, but we've got video surveillance on that Charger you all saw. We ran it through the system, and the driver has been positively identified as Dominic Torello. I've been tracking this guy for a while. He's a hardened criminal. He's likely armed, and he is definitely dangerous. My men and I are on our way to apprehend him right now. If you see him, don't be a hero. Don't engage him. Just keep a safe distance and report any further sightings to studio security immediately. We'll handle it from there.
Okay, well that sounds like something I don't want to deal with at all, ladies and gentlemen. So let's just get back to the tour. So welcome to Whoville from Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Now to build all the Whoville sets with 2 million linear feet of styrofoam. You might notice that Whoville looks a little funny right now. They got a big van full of Chuckies over there. That's because this is our Terror Tram maze for our Halloween Horror Nights event. So Chucky, Leatherface, Freddy, and Jason all hang out here. And the Who's want no part of that nonsense. So they're out of here right now. But frankly, their normal next door neighbor is a bit of a psycho. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bates Motel from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Right now it's dressed up as Camp Crystal Lake for Friday the 13th. This is where Jason hangs out during the Titans of Terror Tram maze. And I bet he and Norman get along just great. Because they're both mama's boys. Now we're going to make our way on up to the Psycho house. When we get up there, take a look in the second floor window. You'll see Mother, and she's just dying to see you. But don't worry, she wouldn't harm a fly. Now we're going to leave behind the Psycho house, and we're going to enter another creepy set. Welcome to the crash site from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. Now, that is a real 747. This keyboard! This keyboard! No, 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 no! Hold on. All right. Reset. Here we go. So this is a real 747 that's destroyed over here. It only cost the Russians $60,000 for the plane, but it cost them $200,000 to get it here. They always get you with the shipping and handling, am I right, folks? Now here's what the crash site looked like on screen.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around the vision that Steve had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about the world, I thought, what if the...
Hey guys, no selfie sticks. I see you in car number 2 with the selfie stick. Put it away. You're going to hit somebody.
Devil goes down right in a big neighborhood. Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Stand closed. Love get in. Get in.
As we leave behind the War of the Worlds set, I want you guys to kind of take a diagonal look behind you over this way on your right-hand side. There's a big blue backdrop over here that's called Falls Lake. It's where we do a lot of our big CGI work because, you know, it's a big blue screen or green screen depending on what the production needs. But they filmed parts of Sully over there starring Tom Hanks when the plane's actually in the Hudson. It was actually over there at Falls Lake. The same with Beyonce's Formation music video. For both of those instances, there were things that were submerged in water. So for Sully, the plane was sitting in a body of water. There's a pit in front of Falls Lake, and that can be filled with water, dirt, sand, whatever you need to be filled with. For Sully, it was filled with water. They put the airplane in the water and then used CGI to put in the city of New York in the background. And the same general principle applied for Beyonce's Formation music video. When she's sitting on top of that police car in the flooded city of New Orleans that was over there at Falls Lake. They filled the pit with water. They put the police car in the water and they put in the city of New Orleans using CGI. Now I knew there was something up with that right away because I'm from New Orleans and I was like, we're not still underwater. Where did she film that? And then I remembered, oh yeah, I saw a police car at work a couple weeks ago sitting in some water. Magic of Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. A couple more recent examples include Jurassic World, the scene where the giant like sea dinosaur that's in the water comes up and eats that pterodactyl that's holding Bryce Dallas Howard's assistant. That was over there at Falls Lake. Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, the scene where the mermaids are all attacking the sailors is over there, and the Hunger Games Catching Fire, when Katniss and her fellow tributes are coming up out of those pods, and they see the cornucopia and the Hunger Games is about to start. It's over there at Falls Lake, so it's a pretty versatile set. Here's a couple more examples up on your screens. Start this over one time and just show you at the beginning we have Jaws the Revenge. Now this is actually what Falls Lake was built for. It was built for this movie Jaws the Revenge because when they were filming the original Jaws, I mentioned how the shark didn't work. Part of the problem was they tested the shark here at Universal Studios in a freshwater tank where it worked beautifully, but then they took it out on location to Martha's Vineyard and put it in salt water. The salt water corroded the mechanics of the shark and made it break down almost every single day. So I guess by the time they got to Jaws the Revenge, they went, you know what? We're going to do this in freshwater. We're just going to do this on a back lot. It's going to make our lives a lot easier. So in 1987, CGI wasn't really a big thing at that point. So what they did was they just painted a backdrop on Falls Lake. So that sky you see in this shot, that is a painted backdrop. And then they filled the pit with water, and the water meets the backdrop, and it looks like the sky is going on forever, when in reality, that is the end right over there. But, you know, it's kind of forced perspective. It makes you believe, oh, okay, It's actually, you know, a real thing. But that's what that was built for, and we, like I said, we've since used it in countless productions. Now, right next to Falls Lake, or rather right next to the tram on your right-hand side, we have our log cabin. Our log cabin was built for the great outdoors, starring John Candy. I think this is the right, there it is. Now, they also used it on Coach, and they used it in ABC's Desperate Housewives. Now, let's see. They also blew it up for another film using CGI, which is a good thing because, you know, our sets here at Universal, we kind of like them. So, I mean, if you can blow them up. We just prefer that, you know, if you blow it up, we want you to put it back. So it's a lot easier to use CGI to blow something up. Or in the case of, Transformers, they also filmed on our New York street. They actually built flats in front of those sets and blew up the things that were right in front of the sets. It kind of gave the illusion of, oh yeah, this is definitely still a busy city and we can see how tall these buildings are, but we're not blowing up Universal's actual sets, which is always a good thing. Because, you know, like I said, we kind of like them. It's a little bit of a pain to put them back up. Well, guys, I don't know what we're doing over here, but there's a truck repair garage over here. Alright, well this is a little out of the ordinary, but I'm sure it's nothing to worry about, and now what?
Look, this might be more serious than I thought. What just happened? This is a secure line. Who are you?
I'll tell you who I am, boy. I'm the reason bad guys use a nightlight. I'm the reason the boogeyman begs his mama to look under his bed. And I'm the reason you just lost control of this whole operation. My name is Special Agent Luke Hobbs of the U.S. Diplomatic Security Service. And as of 16.9 seconds ago, I'm the man in charge.
The hell you are.
Let me clue you in on two things, sweet cheeks. One, there's a high-value witness